Hello, Internet, and welcome to Say Report Jr., a podcast you should be listening to, subscribe to, and downloading every week. I am one of your host companions, Zach Sarowik. God, so close to a real opening.
Well, because I wanted to do that. I'm your other host, companion, co-host, companion person, Dale Decker.
Did you watch Mrs. Doubtfire this
No,
week or something? Where
no,
did that come from?
I literally have never seen that movie before, but I I was like yelling up to Devon from the basement, and I just started going, hello, but I wasn't trying to imitate Mrs. Doubtfire or in any way, shape, or form. I just started doing it.
Just channeled the spirit of Robin Williams.
I don't even know. It was like some weird high-pitched thing, and then, yeah, so
Well,
I felt
Dale,
the need.
control yourself. We have stuff to talk about this
Fuck you.
episode. I don't know if you're ready or not to do a whole episode of the show. I keep
you.
doing this. I can keep doing it, Dale. I can't. I lost it. Those are the two things. That's all I had. Twin Peaks. I got nothing.
Star Wars. Oh, I said something funny the other day about Star Wars. I can't remember it.
Oh, you said, do we want to talk about Star Wars? I mean, there's not.
Here's
there's
the
news about Star
disclaimer.
Wars. Star Wars is coming.
Hold on. Before, I know
I
that.
started this episode so professionally, and then I realized we had no way to start talking about any of the things we want to start talking about.
It's fine. And you started this episode off professionally. I royally screwed up. Here's the disclaimer for this episode. First of all, yes, I am eating Nutella and bread because I need it. Because my mind is a mess right now.
Dale's mind has been warped.
But second of all, this is going to be a huge spoiler episode.
For Ready or Not.
For Ready or Not.
And
So-
the opening, hour or so of Control.
And if you haven't seen a trailer for the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker.
I haven't even seen the trailer.
No, I
just
know.
Talk about it.
Because
but
there's
let's be clear.
pictures.
But yes, if you're someone who is specifically trying to avoid talk about Star Wars until you just see it later,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see you guys next week. This
Yeah.
is going to be just a private conversation between me and Dale now.
Come back to this episode because we're going to talk about some stuff. I feel like there was another thing that we were going to talk about.
I'm sure we will. We'll scream it out when it happens.
But honestly,
here's the deal. I could also wholeheartedly say that Dale and I endorse you going to go see Ready or Not and then hearing us talk about it. And I think, despite her need for comfort food, she would endorse you going to play Control, which I'm also going to do.
Yes.
So if you don't want to hear us talk about it till later, go play Control and at least listen to go through the opening before you hear us talk about it, because we would both heartily endorse that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I get you know, if you're a Star Wars fan, we're not going to say anything that's not publicly available, but if you're purposely trying to avoid it, I got nothing for you, because we're going to talk about it for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be quick. That's going to be the quickest part of this episode. We might as well get it over the way right now.
Right now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. J.J. Abrams is lying to us. J.J. Abrams is lying to us. He's showing us stuff that is purposely meant to just confuse you. He's showing you a dream sequence, or he's showing you another one of the special weird, Luke in the tree or Rey in the hole visions, or C-3PO is secretly Palpatine the whole time. One of those two things.
Yeah, maybe.
Palpatine did the transcendence, put his brain inside a robot thing, but he did it to C-3PO.
Yeah, that was a good choice.
But you said something about possibly evil Rey being a thing that you would like to see, and I need to know why.
Okay.
Where your head's at.
All right.
I'm not against it. I'm just confused.
You're just confused? All right. So here's my thing about Star Wars. I like Star Wars. Star Wars is fun. I like making stupid theories up when it comes to Star Wars that I know no one wants to hear. But
so you like trolling.
Yes.
What you said is you like trolling Star Wars fans.
But the thing is that I don't put it out there because I don't want to upset people.
one guy to take it too seriously, and the next thing you know, you've nuked Twitter from orbit, so you never
Yeah.
have to see it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
No,
like,
understandable.
it's
I
just
get that.
I've been in situations where I have brought up opinions of mine regarding Star Wars, and I have basically gotten ostracized and like just beat, like just, you know, outcast from the conversation because I watch those movies very differently than everybody else because I came very late to the party. And
To be fair, you were born late to that party.
yeah, I mean, but you know, true. But
Even
it's
in
just,
terms of when like episode 1 came out, I was in the 6th grade.
yeah,
You were in what? Kindergarten? Like
probably, yeah. I don't know. It's just it really is this thing that I have fun with, but I don't have the same like feelings as other people do. And that's fine. Like I'm happy there are diehard Star Wars fans in the world. It makes me very happy. But I also know that I can't share many opinions with many of them because I don't want to start a fight.
well,
when I'm really not going to be upset at the end of the fight. I don't want to upset anybody.
It's a thing that I get upset about because I get upset anytime I start to headcanon shit because that's just the type of person I am. But I am actually in a similar boat to you.
Yeah.
I like Star Wars. I like sitting down and watching Star Wars movies. I like just being in that world. It's great. I
Yes.
don't harbor like huge feelings for it, but as like the English major part of me gets into fights about Star Wars on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's what I will say.
No, I get that. I mean, I can sit here and tell you my favorite Star Wars movies are Solo and Force Awakens, and then I really like the prequels. And the original trilogy is just like, nah, it's there. That is a very unpopular opinion.
Yes. Here's the thing, though. Yes, but also the original trilogy is like extremely rote storytelling. It's by design. It's very basic storytelling.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like the same story you've already heard, but in space with swords that are lasers.
Yeah.
So like
And
the idea that you would feel that way is actually not that crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the prequel trilogy is like weird because George Lucas was like, what if I did this family movie about politics?
Yeah.
It's just buck wild on that notion, but
yes.
I'm also not but like I mean going just from like age and probably those, now I'm going to be presumptuous, probably the first at least one of those movies was the first Star Wars movie you saw. I'm going to guess one of the first Star Wars movies you saw was one of the prequel films before the others. Really?
I don't know. The thing with Star Wars is that I've definitely like I've seen bits and actually I might have seen whatever one Anakin becomes Darth Vader.
So Revenge of the Sith.
Okay,
That's episode 3.
Revenge of the Sith. I remember seeing that vaguely in the theater. But like I got nothing out of it other than
because it's not only the end of that trilogy, it's also meant to bridge you to the old trilogy.
Yeah,
That's specifically a movie
but
that demands you watch other movies.
But it's not even because of that. It's just because I was young. Like I just don't remember the movie. The only thing I remembered from that movie, and even now still, because all of them are just a jumble mess in my brain, I cannot tell you what happens in each movie. I can tell you the Star Wars story. I could tell you what happens, but I can't tell you what happens in the individual movies, except for the most recent movies and the most recent trilogy, right? But the thing about Revenge of the Sith, I guess, is the biggest thing for me that came out of it was watching Anakin become Darth Vader on the table. Like that is the only thing I remembered.
The scene, one of the most derided scenes by nerds.
Yeah.
But
it's like
it's only because of the no. It's only because of the screaming no afterwards.
Yeah. It's just that was really all I had. I mean, like I said, I knew one of my most famous college quotes is when when we were when I went to school knew I hadn't seen Star Wars, and it kind of became a joke of the department.
I think we've
Which
talked about
we
that
have
before.
talked about
We've
it.
at least talked about it privately, if not on this
Yeah,
podcast.
no, we've
but yes,
definitely
that sounds familiar.
We've definitely talked about it. And one of my professors was talking about Yoda, and he like called me out and was like, I mean, Dale won't know who that is. And I like yelled in the middle of class, like, I live in the world. So like I've and the class kind of stopped for a couple of minutes. And everybody just
this is like when Devon was very upset that I had never seen Godfather, and I was like, but also I live in the world, and I can tell you a lot about Godfather.
Yeah.
And by a lot, I mean 2 scenes.
Yeah.
But still, clearly it's got me this far.
The thing is like, I knew a lot about Star Wars, I just had never seen them. So then I watched them, and like, the things that I held on to when I very first watched them was that, oh, the Jedi are kind of assholes.
Yes.
And
yes. Hold on to that feeling. Yes.
And the Sith aren't entirely wrong. And like,
well,
those kind of things scare me when I think that way.
I will tell you that the Sith are mostly wrong. But the answer is that the Sith are wrong, but the Jedi are not the ones who should be trying to stop the Sith.
No,
that's where I fall.
But the thing about that sentence, that thing I just said about the Sith aren't entirely wrong, is coming from Anakin being like, you're not the all-powerful. The Jedi are not the all-powerful. You guys are just another group, pretty much. You hold yourself in more high regard, and you're like arrogant. You're arrogant assholes. And that's what I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, the Sith, I'm not blind to it. The Sith are still evil. They're still bad guys.
No,
but that notion of Anakin, and it's really like I rally behind Anakin in a weird way. And I rally, like, and rally might be the wrong term, but it's
feel bad. It's very easy to feel bad for Anakin, especially at the end of that trilogy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's this whole thing where I'm like,
by design.
I love Anakin and I love Darth Vader now, because how that character was built, how Darth Vader was built, is this crazy thing. And then you get to see at the end of the original trilogy, like, yeah, he's still human. Anakin is still in there. It's just, clouded. It's like he's clouded in this darkness, right? And that's the whole thing of Star Wars, pretty much, is that there's this balance and there you walk the line. Then I started reading up about gray Jedi.
Sorry, hold on. We have to go back. I need to make some sort of Johnny Cash joke with that walk the line thing. I just got nothing. Got nothing. Okay. Anyway, back to your gray Jedi.
The thing. So then I started reading a lot about gray Jedi, and I was like sitting at the computer at home, just just absorbing all of this information about the gray Jedi, and I'm like, why is this not the story that's being told? Like, why is this in some weird subtext being told, but it's never talked about?
Because it was specifically in that weird subtext in the extended universe, because it was in a place where George Lucas couldn't come in and be like, but no, I don't want it to be that.
Yeah. But it's like, so I got like upset that I'm like, all right, so Luke is a gray, and I started like coming up with those things. I'm like, Luke's a gray Jedi, Anakin's a gray Jedi, and yet we don't talk about that. And like, I understand that that's wholly my feelings on the subject, and I understand that they have definitely chosen their sides more. But like, when Luke walks in the black freaking outfit with Jabba the Hutt, right? I'm like, okay, yeah. So how can you not discuss the fact that he walks the freaking line? Like, how can you not discuss that? And anytime I would want to, the conversation would just die. Like, nobody wanted to talk about that. And same thing with Anakin. And it's
I was going to say, the unfortunate answer is it's because the movies are simple. The movies are not asking you to go that complex. And the extended universe did that, and then Disney nuked the extended universe in space. But, like, and I think that's why The Last Jedi generated so much of the conversation it did, was because Rian Johnson came in and was like, but what if we had those conversations?
Yeah.
And people were like, no, but this is not the simple storytelling that this saga is supposed to be.
Well, that's...
So, like...
But here's a reason why I'm like, okay if Rey is evil. or if she's a gray like there are those things where I'm like, finally some of these things can get tackled in these new movies, and that's why I gravitate them. Not so much Last Jedi, because I did not love Last Jedi. I loved moments in it, and those moments are between Kylo Ren and Rey, who are my two favorite characters now in in the Star Wars universe, and then Anakin and Rose. But nobody else loves Rose, and I have to
No,
give her the
Rose
love.
is fine.
Everybody,
I love
I
Rose.
don't
I think
understand
Rose is
why
great.
people don't like Rose. But the
Oh,
thing,
that's I mean, racism and
yeah,
sexism is the
yeah,
answer there.
exactly.
But I mean, I
But
love Rose. She just got tacked onto Finn's bad storytelling in the set in Last
exactly.
Jedi. I've
But
already
the
talked about that.
but
But anyway,
but the thing is that like Force Awakens very much shows that Kylo Ren could be gray, but he doesn't like realize that no, it's okay that you're both good and evil, because he's just trying to follow in the father in Grandpa Vader's steps. Like, it's very much like this was kind of like a father figure to me. I need to follow him. I can't follow the good side of me. I need to follow him. And it's like, okay, cool. So I am just excited for the possibility of, first of all, a hero becoming evil and being that way. Because for me, that would be the coolest
could you
freaking
imagine
twist. But the
halfway
world
through
would,
Rise of Skywalker, there's like a turn where all of a sudden Rey goes bad and Kylo has to turn around and be like, "Fuck you! I'm
yes,
Ben Solo.
yeah,
I'm a Skywalker, and he's the one."
yeah.
Anyway.
Honestly, that would be amazing to me. That would be the movie I would want in a way. But it's not gonna happen. And
No,
if it
because
does,
J.J. Abrams is not that storyteller.
no,
Is the problem?
no. But that's like that final image in that trailer, and the image that's been floating around the internet. It gives me like a small little glimmer of hope that they could do something really, really cool with those characters. And the thing is that she doesn't have to be all evil. She could. I truly think that Rey is a freaking gray Jedi, and that
No,
they're
I mean
finally
honestly,
gonna tackle
the way
that.
if you want to take what Force Awakens did and you want to take what the Last Jedi kind of altered from that and set its own path, I would say that the Gray Jedi thing is ultimately where it should land.
Hmm.
If you're going to take that to its logical conclusion of like this continued thing of either you take like good completely eradicates bad and it just like admits to the fact that like the bad is the bad, we just get rid of it instead of this whole fucking sometimes they're in charge,
Yeah,
sometimes the bad wins and then a bunch of people have to die, and then sometimes the good wins and then sometimes the bad wins and more people have to die, and they
yeah.
say fuck it, how about we just get rid of the people killing people. That's one option. The other option is to come in and be like, well, or also we accept that there's bad shit in us and we actually just try to like work with it
Hmm.
instead of this whole fucking back and forth we keep
Yeah,
doing, because that also would stop people from dying.
yeah.
And that's the
I mean,
logical conclusion that I think Last Jedi sets up, and I just wish I had enough like
information.
I wish J.J. Abrams was that person.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't think that's what J.J.
No.
Abrams does story
Yeah.
wise.
And that's the thing, is that, I have all of these hopes and wants, and I just and no, like, I don't know for sure. I also understand how that community works, and I feel like if that was how this story ended, people would be very upset. And I don't think they would risk that. To tell an interesting story, I don't think they would risk that. And that's sad on some levels because
Yes.
it's like you have that power to like change people's mind and to show them, hey guys, everything that we told you is true, but there is this third option that you know also works and can be the change in the world that we need. Like, it could become this whole it could become this whole big thing, and it would make me really happy. But yeah, so that image of her makes me super happy. I also do like a good villain story and good villains in general. And to see a character who has been this like vision of hope and this leader in a lot of ways become this villain is something that is so cool to me and so interesting. And like She doesn't have to do anything despicable or anything, but she could. And I think I would still love her, like, as a character. Just because someone is evil in a movie, you know, I mean, I don't know. I have this whole weird notion about villains in movies. And villains are fun to watch in movies.
Yes.
You know?
Yes,
Like-
they are. There's also, I mean, and this is going into entirely other things that we definitely don't need to get into tonight. I don't know. Maybe it's a hot topic, maybe not. But the problem, let me think with this way I want to word this. Star Wars has done this already, and like Rey going evil might also do this. Is the problem of, yes, villains are cool to look at, but if you make them so cool to sympathize, you also are just like, I don't care that they're mass murderers. They're cool. Is kind
Exactly.
of a
Yeah,
situation that
that's
Star Wars
not-
has run into.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. This is a problem. Like, at this point, I don't know what I want out of Star Wars because I know where it would probably go because of the way it tells stories, and that's fine.
Mm.
But also, like,
mean,
I don't know.
The
I don't
perfect,
know. I don't.
the perfect,
At this point, I'm at a point where basically I don't know how I feel about Star Wars in general
Mm.
as a story anymore. I would like to see how it ends and then make that decision. I think is the way that goes.
Yeah.
But like, they could show me as much interesting, like, off the wall shit as they want, but unless they're like going to talk about like they're like, I put this out on Twitter the other day. I was like, you know what? I realized that I keep going around being like, I don't want Rey to be a Skywalker. I don't want Rey to be a Skywalker because I really don't. But you know
don't
what?
Either.
But you know what? If someone came into this movie, the movie, something completely out of the extended universe came into the movie canon and when we created Rey out of fucking midichlorians like Anakin Skywalker,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
the legit canon birth of Anakin,
Yep.
was that Palpatine created him out of midichlorians.
I would love
It's just
that.
batshit. It's like, do that. Yes, if you're gonna do that, go crazy with it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want. I
No,
want you to go
I
buck
agree.
wild.
Are you kidding me? I agree, because that is something that I used to
'Cause
talk
at least
about
then it's
too.
an interesting place for her to come from.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah,
not just
and-
that's not just, oh, we needed someone to secretly be a Skywalker.
No, and it's also the whole thing of, you know, Kylo being like, your parents are nobodies. Like, they literally are nobody. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have you have like,
You're
you
a
have
literal
science.
Jedi test tube. Baby. Congratulations.
Your parents is science, pretty much, Ray. Like, and live with that. But no, like, I don't know. It's, for me, there is a other part of me that doesn't want her to be wholly bad. I
Well, no, the
want
other
her
reason
to
I
be
don't-
a Grey Jedi, but I think I don't want that scene to be a vision. I don't want that to be a dream. I want that to happen, and I want that to be like rock bottom for her.
Something she legitimately struggles to go
Yes.
against. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's also
Because
that's
that
also
is
cool.
how you show that story. That's how you show that story. And then it is like, it could be like this, you know, thing between her and Kylo. And again, I don't want them to get together. I don't really want Raylo or whatever that is.
That's the other funny thing. She
I-
turns out to be a Skywalker, and all of a sudden, all the fucking Raylo shit just falls apart. That's
Yeah.
another reason I might be okay with it in the end.
Mm.
Just to watch everybody scream to
But,
the
like,
heavens that Raylo can't happen now.
Yeah. I just want them to be like best fucking friends. Like, that's honestly what I want out of that team. And I want them both to be like, yeah, we realized what we each did was kind of crazy, and like, Kylo, you did a lot of bad, but you know,
You want Katara and Zuko. You want Katara and
Pretty
Zuko
much.
from Last Airbender, where she's like dragging him along, like, this is how you be a good person, you
Yeah.
idiot.
I think
This is
there's
how I fix
some
you.
romance there though.
There's some tension.
Yeah.
There's some tension, but ultimately she ends up with Aang. We
I
know
know,
this.
yeah.
Canonical. That's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's specifically why I chose those two. It's that
No,
you
I
have,
know.
there's obvious tension that everybody
Yeah.
talks about,
Yeah.
but it's more of a, like, they are very good friends. They make each other better.
They make each other better.
And
Exactly.
she drags him along and is like,
Exactly.
moron, be a good person already.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. And it's, you know,
uh,
and yeah, again, like, Kylo can't be 100% forgiven for what he's done, but like, it just is another level of interesting storytelling to have this person like be forced. I don't know. It's just, yeah. the and when I say all that stuff about villains, is like the dark side in Star Wars is this really interesting thing because you have a lot of cool bad people in it, but
And a
there's
lot of dorks on the light side.
and
A lot of
but
dorks
it's
on
not
the
even
light
that. Like you also have dorks on the dark side. Like Kylo Ren is very much a little like a
side.
bumbling idiot at times,
This
but
is
he's
true.
also super capable. Like he knows what he has to do. He knows what he's capable of. The light in him makes him this like bumbling fool because he knows that like something I am doing is wrong.
There's a good force ghost on his shoulder that just keeps tripping him every time he tries to do
Yeah.
keeps pulling away that football every time he's gonna do something real evil.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, never mind.
But yeah, it's this thing. Villains are fun to watch in television shows and in movies, but the villains in Star Wars are some of the most interesting ones to me because they do a lot of them. A lot of the people on the dark side do kind of walk that gray Jedi line, not perfectly, and I keep making that reference. But not perfectly. Like they all ultimately are on the dark side, but the fact that there's now introduction of, and we've already seen it with Anakin, and
But
you know,
they're on the dark side by way of the Jedi define what the light side is,
yes,
and that's a
yeah,
very flawed
yeah,
definition.
yeah.
Which
It's
is
it's
because
just
that's the other thing. Like you get into the Great Jedi and you get into the territory of, oh, you're just saying that both sides could be equally good, and we should say the space Nazis might have some good ideas. No, that's not what we're saying.
no,
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 space Nazis are bad. We know this.
yeah.
The space Nazis are bad. The Empire should be defeated. The First Order should be gone. But we also have to recognize that the reason the space Nazis existed is because the Jedi came in and said feelings are bad. Be a man
Yeah,
and
exactly.
hide your feelings.
Exactly. Which like that made me so angry when I was watching the prequels. I'm like, how can you rally against these people who claim to be good when they're like, yeah, don't feel anything. And it's like, in a way, that's evil. Like that is an evil way to look at stuff. You can't just not feel anything cuz then you're numb to everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's a really cool, interesting dynamic between the two, and that's why I freaking love Grey Jedi, and that's why I am so hoping that Kylo and Rey are Grey Jedi.
And I'm always like, what I'm rooting for at this point is I'm rooting to be surprised. What I want out of Rise of Skywalker is to just be surprised.
I agree. Yeah.
And then I will judge my feelings about everything else accordingly after that.
Yeah. No, I
But I
agree.
can tell you what I found surprising.
Ready or not?
Yes, thank you. I didn't really actually know how I was going with that sentence. You saved me. Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew the second I watched the poster for Ready or Not that I was going to enjoy
Fair
this
enough.
movie.
Mhm.
But I was still so pleasantly surprised by just how entertaining front to back that movie is.
Oh no, I 100% agree. Their trailers have been doing a pretty good job lately, in that they show a lot of stuff, and that could ruin the movie for some people. But all of that stuff happens in the beginning.
Yes,
And-
everything that I can think of that, yeah, you're right. Everything I can think
Or-
of from the Ready or Not trailer is like in the first third of that
Yeah.
movie, first half.
Or it's the
third of that
very
movie.
last scene, but like in the trailer you have no context. And like there were moments in the movie where I'm like, how is that scene from the trailer even gonna happen now? And then it happens and I'm like, oh damn. That's like there was still that surprise. So trailers are doing a good job lately. I'm just gonna lay that out there right now.
Yeah, I think I think what we're seeing is like, especially trailers for like more independent films, which are getting fewer and fewer as Disney just explodes onto everything.
Yeah.
Ugh. But I think what's happening is that the smaller studios that are getting their stuff out there are going, we need to have as much control to sell this thing as possible without giving it away, because that's like what they have going for them is this like an unpredictability. Like you go to a Disney movie, anything under the Disney name at this point, and you're gonna kind of know what you're getting,
Mhm.
which is fine. Everybody needs their comfort food. doesn't need to be in 3/4 of every theater, but we all need our comfort food. Um, but like, I like the idea of like I watched that trailer, and the thing that sold me on that trailer was like, okay, bumbling fools
Mm-hmm.
and Winona Earp and Adam Brody. That's all I really need to know about this movie. And I'm gonna go into this movie like, yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see all of these people doing these things. This
Yeah.
looks great.
Yeah. I just got
Oh man.
the thing that got me there was like, again, like bumbling just hilarity, and it felt very Purge, but like in a not okay. I don't know how to accurately
It's extremely
describe.
it's a movie that is somehow extremely like heavy-handed in its message, but because it is a extremely campy movie, like makes that heavy-handedness work for it.
Yes, like
For me,
yeah, no, it's like it's weird how I want to describe how it's like the Purge is like all the fun stuff of the Purge felt like in this movie, and like all the scary shit of the Purge was just like replaced with hilarity and like just fun and enjoyment, which is weird. But there was like when the Purge is starting to like happen and starting to commence, you get those like I'm gonna use Jokerisms that happen. Like you've seen the Purge movies, right?
I've seen the first Purge
Okay,
movie,
so
but
it
no, I know
happens
exactly,
more.
but I know exactly what you mean, even from the first one.
Yeah, it happens a little bit more in the sequels, but like you can always tell when someone that you see in the daylight is going to come back and kill somebody at night because of their mannerisms and because of how they speak, and it's just like in this like creepy tone because they're like, I'm coming back. You cross me. This is my one night where I can do this and cross you back and freaking get away with it. And it's just like that level of creepiness that is like it's Joker. Like it just feels like the Joker in a way. And that happened so much during Ready or Not. And I'm
Also,
like, this is incredible.
it also helps that like, with the exception of one maid, there isn't a single person in that movie that doesn't try to kill her. Like,
Aha! I have something to talk about on that though.
like when I'm thinking about it, I mean, or sorry, maim her and bring her back or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, the other two maids also don't because they die ahead of time.
Yeah.
Does one of them? No. Well, the one that's in the dumbwaiter rats her out.
Two of
Actually,
them
now that I
rat
think
her
about
out.
it.
Two of them
Yeah,
rat
and
her
then
out.
one of them dies too quick to do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
But
One of
but
them,
like,
it's weird. And then the fourth one, the butler guy, was totally
yes.
like,
I was waiting
I'm
for the reveal that the butler was secretly the guy that they had all sold their soul to, by the way, that whole
me
movie.
too.
That whole movie, I was waiting for him to turn around and be like, I'm Lebile, blah, 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 whatever the name was they gave him. I forget his name.
Labile.
Lebile,
Labelle.
Lebale.
Yeah, it's Ladomus and Labelle.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's first off, the fact that this movie opens up like already there,
Mm-hmm.
like already on the wedding day, she's already in the wedding dress. Like there's no context for their lives outside of this wedding.
Well, there's the very opening scene is their first Ready or Not night, hide and seek
Right.
night.
Sorry, the family, yes, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about, but even then, that's in the house.
Yeah.
So like,
You're
just the fact
in the
that.
house from the very beginning.
So yeah, but I mean, even just like Grace and Alex, just like the
Oh.
fact that there is literally no context for like, and she says, I grew up in foster homes and I've always wanted a family.
Mhm.
There's no context for how they live their lives outside of this house. It is just like you're already in it, and
Yeah.
everybody in it is creepy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a simmering. There's like a
Layer.
simmering low level of creep that just kind of goes up and comes back down, but never goes below that because everybody is ready to kill in this movie.
Yeah. But also reluctantly. Like they're so
Reluctantly, because they're like, "Are we really doing this?
Are we
Ha ha!
doing this?"
I'm half joking.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha!"
Yeah.
But like, also that first maid dies, and like their biggest concern is that they screwed up. They're
Mhm.
not concerned that they killed a person.
No. They've all
They're extremely
it's
selfish
really
people.
it's a really interesting thing, and that terribly written article that I sent you really
Oh.
got me thinking about this and like about the motivations of each character, which like totally then brought me back to college. And then I was like, I just want to write a paper. This is like the movie that I would want to write a paper
Oh,
about in college.
the reason
And
the
it's
second I
like,
realized that the main character's name is Grace and the only other woman to marry into the family's name is Charity,
yeah,
and I was like, okay, so obviously,
yeah,
and even she says, I'm not going back to that life I had before.
yeah.
No other context to what that means, but you have the blonde in the white dress
Mm-hmm.
named Grace, and you have the brunette named Charity, who's ready to kill the entire movie without any fucking
Yep. Because,
care.
because, yeah. It's,
Oh my God.
it's just so interesting. But like you have all the people who basically married into the family, um, like, well, not even all of them. It's really, and I can't think of her name.
Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell. Like, she married into the family, right? She
Right.
does
You have
not want to have any part of this
and
by the
she
time of well, she's
does but doesn't. She is reluctant the whole time, but is always willing to do it. And I
yeah,
think that's
because
the interesting thing about it because she wholeheartedly believes, like her
mhm,
husband, what's going to happen.
yes,
I don't think
exactly.
there's a part of her that doesn't believe in what's going to happen. And
Well, and I
so
think,
like
and
so she feels bad because she likes her,
mm,
but it just is what it is and we have to
yeah.
do it.
Well, and I think it's a lot to come with. First of all, like, we don't know how many times it's happened, but we know that it's happened. So the movie starts with this hide and seek night where they have to basically make a sacrifice because their great grandfather, great uncle, whatever, made a deal with the devil, and when a new family member comes in at midnight, they have to play a game, and if they pull the hide and
Hide and
seek
seek
card,
card. Yeah.
specifically the hide and seek card, they have
It's
to.
a
It's
hunt to the death and a
it's
ritualistic
freaking
killing at the end of the night and all that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's freaking most dangerous game, right? It becomes most dangerous game with a ritual at the end. Um, so like that happens, and then it doesn't happen for another 30 years. It doesn't happen again.
They do also, though, mention killing
So
goats. So I get the impression that the years that they didn't kill a person, they still sacrificed a goat
sacrifice,
just to be safe.
but
Like that year that Fitch pulled the old maid card, I got a feeling they all walked out to the barn and sacrificed a goat just to
probably.
be safe.
Well, that's the
Just in
thing.
case.
So like that's the thing. Maybe when it's not hide and seek, they do a goat instead. Like
Right.
that I can totally rally behind that. And like that's how they introduce the family member properly into the family. It's like, hey, you're part of this family now. This is what we do.
And by the way,
Like it
sometimes it's
or
a
don't.
person. Yeah, and sometimes it's a person. You just got to deal with that
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
but it hasn't
But
happened in
like
a while.
but Fitch and Charity have never had to experience a legit hide and seek night. So Fitch is very much like, I don't whatever. I'm here for the money, and my wife is drugged up most of the time. So woohoo, I'm rich. Like I don't. He is just like this bumbling dude who like is ready to accept anything. Like I don't think he has a level of uncaring that is very interesting because he doesn't care until like later on in the film where he's
When he
like,
realizes it might be bullshit for like
yeah,
30 seconds,
yeah,
that's the only time he
yeah.
legitimately is concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he does say the line like, when do we just cut and run? But like even that kind of felt jokey in a way.
Right, but he says it specifically to
To
Charity,
Charity.
someone else who is not a blood member of this family.
Exactly.
So he's under the impression, I think that's part of it. I think what it is he's under the impression that it actually doesn't even matter if the rest of the family dies.
Yeah.
They're safe no matter what
Yeah.
because they're not blood.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of his feelings toward
Yeah.
that.
Like,
That
I
he
don't-
doesn't ever think he's actually in danger, because
danger,
even
yeah.
if this weird crazy shit is real,
Mhm.
he's never going to be involved in that.
But the thing with Charity is like, yeah, of course she is going to be on board because this is the first time she's ever had like
I'm starting to think that Charity may have killed before, not as part of a ritual, but I'm starting to think that maybe when Charity
get
says,
there.
when
I got
Charity says,
foster
"I will not
home."
go back to that life before that I had before," right? Because I think they're supposed to draw parallels to Grace. That's like, yes, she also had had a
Yeah.
hard upbringing like Grace did. Grace always wanted a family. Charity wanted money because I don't know, maybe she was like doing shit
She needed
out on the
money.
streets that included killing
I
people.
don't know. I didn't.
Like
I didn't think of
like the
that.
more
That's
I think about
interesting.
it, like just the fact that she's okay with it makes me think that she's killed a person before.
Yeah.
Not as part of a ritual, but maybe she's just okay. She's a little too okay with it, even for it to be her first time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really interesting that also the only two family members who um die naturally, and I'm
Not
putting that in
yeah,
quotations.
die not at the ending. We're not going to tell you
Um
the ending, but
yeah,
die
they
not at the
the
ending.
only two are really like, so it's Dylan, or right? Is that his name? Dylan? Is
Daniel.
that Danny? Daniel? Daniel.
Daniel.
Daniel. So it's Daniel and Andy McDowell's character. So Daniel is played by Adam Brody. But like they're the two who are really against it. Like
They're the two that
really
show
against
any
it.
version of remorse for it. He
Yeah.
really does. Like Adam
He
Brody does a phenomenal job playing someone who does not want to be
oh
doing this shit,
well,
but
especially
realizes he also doesn't want people like he doesn't want his family to die. Like he's choosing his family over this
mhm.
one person
Yeah, exactly.
every time this
But it's
happens.
it's
Yeah.
also very interesting too, because like he had to see it as a kid, and he was the one who freaking gave up the person. Like the only reason why they found Charles, I think was his name, is because Daniel was like, he's here, like I got him, and he was a kid. So like,
Right, but
of
he was saving
course,
Alex at the
and he was
time.
saving his
He was
brother
like
at the
saving
time.
Alex's soul at
So
the time
like,
doing that
yeah.
in a way.
So
Yeah.
like it's this interesting thing, but like, and then Andy McDowell too, she says at the beginning of the movie to young Daniel, being like, I'm proud of you. So it's like, okay, so you're kind of on board, but I think like the years kind of just told on her, and
I
it's a
don't think it's
lot, but
even
it's really big on the fact that her son has fucking like left them, because he Alex is like, I'm done with this. So
right.
to her, it's like, I've lost my son out of this. I don't care anymore. I just want him back.
And I
So
yeah,
like,
and even that, I don't think she ever like her entire motivation is around getting Alex back into the family and the fact that she likes Grace. I don't think she
yeah,
feels bad about the idea of the actual killing. She feels bad killing Grace
Grace.
because
Yeah.
she wants Alex back in the family and
Mhm.
she likes Grace.
Mhm.
And this whole thing kind of means that neither of those things will happen now
Yeah, exactly.
because they have to kill Grace, which means Alex will leave.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that she feels bad about. I don't think she feels bad at all about the actual ritual itself.
Yeah. Fair. That's fair. But like, they're the only two who get
This is also the first time it's happened since Helene's marriage, and it's
yeah.
like so you don't know really like it's like it's not like they're doing this every year, and so it's like there's this weird idea of what they're okay with
Yeah.
is like,
As
well, we're
far
okay with
as
it because it's once every 30 years
yeah.
apparently.
Yeah.
So
But it's it's such an interesting movie. And it's really fun.
and that scream,
Oh, the
Samara
scream.
Weaving scream. I cannot there's no way to describe it.
No.
You have to see this movie if only to hear
Her scream.
the scream that comes out of this woman's mouth
Yeah.
because it
It's
is
incredible.
oh my god.
Like the incredible is how I would describe that scream. And especially the one at the end.
Yes.
Especially
It's like
the one
it's
at the
weird
end.
because it like crescendos. Like there is like she does
Yeah.
it like 2 or 3 times throughout the movie
Mhm.
where she's like you hear it, it's like oh that's a good horror scream.
Yeah.
And then you hear it again, it's like, oh that sounds like it's getting rougher. And then that last one is just like mind blowing.
I was like, how did she even get that out of her body? Like, how did that even happen? And like, it just brings you into it, man. Like, it just brings you into the moment. It really does. Like, I felt like I was in that freaking world.
Yeah, and it's
And
perfect
just
because
like,
it's like it does the
whew.
perfect thing of like horror especially works really well in short bursts. That's why
Mm.
franchises, as funny as they are, as much as I love the 13, Friday the 13th movies and the 8, 9 leprechaun movies that are out there. The fact is, there's a reason that like the first one is good and the sequel might be okay, and then
Yeah.
the rest are fucking ridiculous. And it's
Yeah.
because short horror works best on a small scale because then it doesn't have to explain everything.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with the horror franchise is that like you would inevitably fall into the concept of now I need to explain all of the intricate bullshit I created,
Yeah.
like all of the mystery boxes I set up. Now we have to open them and see what's inside. And so like as a short story, this is perfect. We don't need to know what their life is outside of that house, and we don't need to know what the life is that she's going back to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No.
she's probably got a bunch of fucking money now because she's still technically married to the guy.
Well, so that's a
So
question that
like
I have,
so like
right?
she could take that money and fucking run.
That's a question I have, right? Okay. Because she is very much saved, right? Because and like I wonder if she didn't say the words "I want a divorce," if she would have gotten saved.
Possible. I mean, you also get the nod from the ghost.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
true
funniest thing
too.
in the world.
So it's
But it's
like
like because
maybe
it's also like remember in this entire concept, she would be dead before like it's either her or
yeah,
them. And so
exactly.
I also am perfectly fine with the deal being that the rest of the family dies and she lives.
Yeah.
Like that just is the deal.
Yeah.
I'm
That'd be
also
fine
I'm
too.
totally fine with that
Like if
because they never
she is able
say
to, yeah, if she's able to beat you guys, if she wins hide and seek, she gets rewarded with
right.
her life. Like
Now,
no, no.
the next question after that is, yeah, she wins this time, but what happens if she gets married again?
Yeah. Like
Like, does that all of a sudden become a problem? But I don't
does
want to.
it
But that's
transfer to
exactly.
her?
But you know what? Don't know. Don't need to know. Don't make
Yeah.
a sequel because if you make a sequel, you're gonna start trying to answer those questions, and then it's gonna get dumb.
If a
So don't.
sequel comes out of this, if a sequel comes out of it, I don't know if I could watch it because those are the kind of questions that are fun just to have a conversation about, but I
Right.
don't want an answer. Like I don't want a definitive answer out of that at all. Ever. I
Yeah.
I am fine enough that I got to see the ghost freaking nod at her.
That was fucking ridiculous. It's so
Like
the ending of this movie. I know we've been spoiling a lot, but double, triple spoilers. The end of this fucking movie is fucking insane. Oh my god. Like
well,
someone
cuz
looked
it's
at that and went, "Well, we wrote ourselves into a corner. Let's
yeah,
just do it. We
yeah.
set up these rules. We might as well follow these rules."
Yeah.
And just
And
like
so, I mean, basically, the end of the movie, huge spoilers. Basically, the end of the movie is they get to Dawn. She is still alive. And there's like a moment where you think they're
where
about to
that devil
die.
is definitely toying with them.
Oh, yeah,
They hit a point
totally.
where Satan is definitely Satan and Labile, and Labile might just be Satan. I don't even want to get into that concept,
Maybe, I
but
don't
like,
know.
but like the guy, but like there's like a definitely 30 seconds where they're just like fucking with them. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Oh,
you don't understand
definitely.
this is all.
Oh,
Oh,
definitely.
except for this part, bam, and they start
Yeah.
exploding.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
so
incredible.
good.
It is such an incredible effect. And like there was a moment where I was like, "Cool, movie. Good for you for making this all a bullshit thing."
You
And
created
I'm trying to whisper
yes.
because people in the house have not seen the movie yet.
Oh,
But
yeah. Like
like
there's a part of that there's a way to end that movie where everybody still survives and it's just funny to watch her
yes.
walk away from the house as it burns while the
Yes.
family watches it and you're left at the question of what the fuck do these idiots do now.
Yeah.
That's also a good ending,
Jail for one.
but I like the idea that they were like that someone sat down with this script and when I set up rules.
We need
It's
to
one of the
honor
biggest
those.
problems with horror movies is sometimes is that they set up rules and they don't follow their own rules. What if we just did it? We set up these rules for what's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so we
Yeah.
just rolled along with it.
My favorite part of that moment was our fucking reaction. Because like
You mean the fact that like there was 20 people in that theater and I think we laughed louder than
yeah,
everybody? Yeah.
and that happens. The first explosion happens, and you and I like practically jumped out of our seats.
Like cheering,
And
not
like,
even like not
yeah,
even out of like
yeah.
both surprised and also so happy with that moment.
And it was just like all these other people are not into this movie as much. And it's like, well, I don't care. I don't even care because this is so much fun. Oh man, yeah. I want to just watch it again. I want to see it like 5 more times.
The soundtrack's on Amazon. I'm looking at it right now.
Ooh,
It's all
okay.
score. It's
Mm.
so like this guy Brian Taylor did the entire score, and then there's the hide and seek song,
Oh my god.
fabulous
How
hide and
good
seek
is
song.
that song?
Oh
Oh,
man,
it's so good.
that's the other brilliant thing about like a low budget movie like that, where it's like, oh yeah, we got someone to make a score because we couldn't license the music. We got this like one like public just like one public domain 100-year-old song, and they made it perfect. They
Yep.
used it once and then they use it at the end. Perfect. You know, yes, that's exactly
Ugh.
how you utilize that. And then just Love Me Tender,
Yeah.
the Love Me Tender
Oh, that scene.
cover over the credits.
So
It's
good.
just like, yes.
Oh man. But yeah, it was just so good. It just you
Go
need to
see it,
see it.
everybody. We
Go
spoiled the
see it.
ending, and yet we didn't talk about almost anything that happens in the middle of
No.
this movie, and that's exactly why.
Yeah.
The middle of the movie is so good, start to finish. It's starting with like the opening conversation between Grace and Alex, the entire characterization you get of those two and their relationship before the wedding is like, oh, this is like I would be friends with this woman.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Same here.
She's not like over the top in any
She's
direction.
very
She
much.
is just like
She's down to earth. Like
no,
she.
she is literally someone that I would probably have had a drink with in New Mexico on a regular
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah. No, seriously, like that would be the person who I'd be like, yeah, we're hanging out. Like, I don't care what you're doing, we're chilling out. Like
And you
because
immediately are like, I want this person to survive because they just
yes,
seem like a person. They seem
yeah,
like a human being.
she seems so. Yeah, that's a thing. Is that she felt so real that I was like, this could have happened. This could have happened. She totally encapsulated it, like it just took over that character, and I it was so real. It was so real. God,
Ugh,
God, I want to just watch it again right now.
me too.
Ugh.
Uh,
But
so
yeah,
Control also came out.
damn it, Zach! I was gonna do the same thing. But
Oh man, so
we
we
lost
both
control.
we both played, God damn it, we're terrible. We're freaking awful. So we have been waiting for this since I don't know, was it our first E3 episode that we saw the
Yeah,
first trailer for it, I think,
yeah,
back in 2017?
yes, yep.
Um from Remedy, the people who make Alan Wake and I think
Quantum Break.
made Quantum Break, game that I wish I could go back and finish. So mad that I played the opening of that game and I could finish it. Let's be clear. I could just play that game without watching the movie.
No, you can't.
But like it would
Because
make no sense.
it would make no sense because major freaking plot
And like
devices happen
I
during the
bet you
episodes.
there's a flow chart somewhere. I guarantee you there's a flow chart somewhere with
Oh.
like links to YouTube videos where you can
Yeah.
be like, these are the two choices I made. Show me this video. Okay,
Yes.
now these are the choices I
Well,
made. Show me this video.
Like I said,
That's-
all of the episodes are on YouTube. They're
Yeah.
just
You just gotta
broken
find the
up into
ones-
left and right choices.
Right. So you've got to figure out the ones that you made.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yes. And also I'm pretty certain Remedy made the first two Max Payne games along with Rockstar before the third one.
That
Which are
that
also
sounds familiar.
Excellent. Which are also excellent because Max Payne is in Quantum Break. He's on the I think it's the Alan Wake TV show or the
Yeah.
cop TV show that you see all the time.
Yeah.
That the actor that's in that is the guy that was the model for Max Payne.
Mm.
So how do we
So
explain
Control.
what the fuck is going on in
I
Control?
will explain it how I kind of explained it to a coworker today and sold my coworker on it.
Before you even played it. So going off the
before
minimal
I even played it.
information we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we first saw, first reported on our first, E3 is when this game came out, and all I had to go off of was that first, teaser trailer of Jessie, her going through this building, and it looked like the same mechanics as Quantum Break, whereas like you have time abilities in Quantum Break, and anytime you use them, the world gets shifted a little bit, and it looks very like it looks like a broken mirror, kind of. So it looks like you're looking through crystals and whatnot, and that's what I saw in Control. I was like, oh my god, like that is what I want, and I want to see what that means. Like, does it have anything to do with Quantum Break? No, it doesn't. But does it have anything to do with it? Does it have anything to do with Alan Wake? That's all I went off of. And I was like, I loved Quantum Break, like, with every fiber of my being. I need to play this game. And I knew nothing about it.
And like, coming from a similar place, I loved Alan Wake, so that's all I needed to know going into Control as well. Like, I was just like, okay, yeah, it's Remedy. They make good games. I like the early Max Payne games. I like Alan Wake. Perfect.
Yeah. And they're really good at mystery games. Like, you really have to pay attention and read the shit that's around you to understand the whole story. And granted, with Quantum Break, with Quantum Break, I didn't read everything because I had a very small window of time to beat that game. But it's still, like, even if you don't pay attention, you still get something out of it. You still get an immensely, like, fun game with just, like, fun battle sequences.
Of, like, play through this sci-fi original series.
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. Like,
You've got an Ashmore in there. It's a sci-fi original series.
First of all, also, if he shows up in Control, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I've been waiting. I haven't recognized anybody yet, but
I mean, the woman who Hope is from Quantum Break. She was in Quantum Break.
Okay. I mean, I didn't recognize, like, her face. Did they use, like, her face as the model? Because I, like, did not recognize her, like, face as anything. The way that you, like, recognize Sean Ashmore in
I think
Ashmore?
so.
Whatever Ashmore is in.
I think so. Well, because also with Control, well, before I get into that, we'll get into that after. But, so basically, then, a couple months ago, there was a Game Informer lying around at work, so, in the staff lounge, so I grabbed it, and I read the cover article, which was about Control.
What a I only read Playboy for the article's way of saying that sentence. Oh, there was a Game Informer at work in the break room somewhere. I came across this Game Informer.
But that day I was so excited to read the articles because I'm like, I'll get more information. I'm already gonna get this game, but I'll get more information as to what is going on. And what is going on is basically you as Jesse. I can't pronounce
here's
her.
The thing.
I can't think of her last
name.
You're
Jesse Reardon, Fendon,
Fearden or
something like that.
Fearden. Jesse Fearden. And you are the newly appointed director of the Federal Bureau of Control.
Here's the thing.
You were told out right away.
Sort of, except that sentence is obfuscating a lot. First off, you are controlling Jesse.
Yes.
You are, if you listen to the voiceover and the way that she's talking, you are not Jesse. You are someone Jesse is talking to who also happens to be moving her through this story.
Well, yeah, it's very much
things like, "Are you with me?"
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move. Okay, you can start moving now and stuff like that. Like, she's very clearly talking to the player.
It's totally but it's also like a retelling of what happened to her. It's like she's in an interview. It's like she's in an interview with someone, and you're playing through this memory.
They're like, okay, now we're in the interrogation room and she's talking to Sean Ashmore. Like, that's I'm waiting for. But did you notice that because there's other stuff that happens? Like,
there is other stuff that happens.
So, like, because we have to start talking about what this game is actually doing. So yeah, you're the newly appointed director, but you're the newly appointed director because you walked into the office and the old director has shot himself with a gun that is also called the service weapon.
Yep.
And it's some sort of weird supernatural item, and you pick it up and suddenly the entire building changes and replaces your face on the posters of all of the
which is all I wanted.
Of all of the directors, and it's like, oh, you're the director now, by the way.
Well, you also have to go through a trial. Like, it's very much
and you go through like the like, here's how the gun tutorial.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like,
it's a trial. You're going through this astral plane that is 100%. Can you handle this kind of thing?
Yeah, but then they call it something else too, because they call it the astral plane, and then it's like astral plane / something else, because everything has like some sort of weird supernatural name, but also a weirdly mundane name to it.
Well, so it's
like astral plane / training. Is like
yeah, pretty much is what it is. But because in the article that I read, it talks about how the astral plane the astral plane is your tutorial. Like
Right.
that's what it is.
And like
But
and like
it's built
and it's
in
being
this
run
way.
by
It's built in this way that like fits the game, so it feels like you're still playing the
right,
game
and it's
and
being
not
run,
just
but
doing
then
a tutorial.
and it's so funny because you are the director of this secret government agency, and it's the board telling you how, like,
How to do
tutorializing
it.
for you.
Yep.
So it's like the astral plane slash the board says you need to go this way.
Yeah, exactly. And but it is this thing of, the Federal Bureau of Control, the FBC, is they kind of deal within the supernatural stuff that happens in the world, and with AWEs, which are altered world events.
Events, yes.
And
And
so
they have
like
objects of power, also
yes.
called oops.
Oops. The OPP. But yeah, it's the not the OPP. No, the OOP.
O.o.P.
There we go. Not
Yeah.
OPP. Damn
Yeah,
it.
you know me.
But yeah, they very much do like deal in the supernatural stuff, and one of the biggest things that you learn is that as a child, Jesse saw something and the Bureau covered it up because that's
Right.
what their job is.
And she's been trying to figure out what happened because something happened to her brother in that event.
Yeah.
But like she shows up, she becomes the director, and she runs into a woman who's like, "Well, cool, you're the director now. Wait, you were at ground zero of one of those events? Huh,
Yeah.
weird. I guess that's probably why you're the director now."
Yeah.
Because
And-
like this whole thing of like supernatural, it's not like supernatural like ghosts. They call it actually like paranatural. It's like the fabric
paranatural.
of reality is
Yeah.
tearing in
Yeah.
places, and also like the whole idea of objects of power is like if enough people have strong enough feelings on a thing, it just gains power.
Yep. Yeah, and that's and also there's that thing that talks about DNA, and like there's something like only a certain person can wield the object of power. So like only certain people can wield the service weapon. And she, I guess, is this special person. She has like a special thing in her DNA or whatever. But it very much, there's that document that you pick up, which I don't know how. I know that you've been exploring.
I've been going around digging up documents. I cannot remember what about DNA, so I might have mixed it.
So, well, it's also my interpretation of it is basically how I'm gonna.
Is it just like the service weapon
Thing
like
that-
explainer document?
Kind
Or
of,
just go
yeah,
back and read that. There's one that's just like titled like the service weapon,
Yeah.
and here's the entire breakdown of it.
And
Yeah.
it goes on at the very bottom. It talks about how it's like Milnor, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I did get that. Excalibur.
Yeah,
and
Excalibur. Yeah.
something else I didn't recognize,
Yeah.
but
So
along
it's
those
like
lines.
it's very much this, thing that chooses its owner pretty much, and you have to show that you're worthy. And if you don't show that you're worthy, well, you're dead. So yeah. Which is so eloquently put in the training video or in the information video of the guy being like,
Oh
so
my
if you,
God, that
if
guy, by
you
the way?
survive this Russian roulette, good for you. You've got a job. If you don't, well, then you're fired, and that basically means you're dead.
Do you recognize that guy or his voice, by the way? Because I don't remember how often he
Kind
would have
of.
come up on break.
Kind of.
But that's Alan Wake. That's
Is
who
it?
that's who that actor is. Yeah,
Oh.
that's the guy who voices and is modeled that Alan Wake is modeled after. So I think in Quantum Break, because you watch the episodes that are based on his shows and stuff, I'm sure he shows up in like some of those. Because
I don't remember
throughout
that.
Alan Wake, you run into the what's it called? Not the Twilight Zone, but the Twilight Zone version that they have that are based on Alan Wake stories or whatever.
I don't remember.
Because throughout Alan Wake, you're seeing different episodes of that, and there are episodes
I
where
need
it's
to
like
play.
Alan Wake is in them
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But he's also obviously like the main character through the whole thing. So I was like watching those and I was listening. I was like, why does this guy's voice sound so? Why does
It's
that
him.
sound so
That's
familiar? And I
interesting.
looked it up and I was like, oh, it's fucking Alan Wake.
Yeah, that's I never played Alan Wake, so I don't know that.
Have you gone into your inventory and just watched that, by the way? Because that's under one of your tabs now.
Yes.
Every time you watch one of those projected, yeah,
Yes.
it's great because you can just sit there for 2 minutes and watch like a 60s
I've
style
watched it twice.
goofy video of this little cube is an object of power.
Yeah, because everybody loves it. No, yeah, but this game is really
But then like
fucking with my head.
yeah, because then you're like going through this building, and because like the concept of a government building and a building built on bureaucracy is that like you can get lost because everything looks the same.
Mm.
And they took that concept. It was like, yeah, but also, what if you went around a corner and everything shifted a little bit, and then you went around a corner and you were back in the other room
Yeah.
again, and then you went around the corner and you were back in this room
Yeah.
again, but everything's all turned
The
around.
first
And
time
I was
it
like, oh
happened,
my god, my brain.
the first time it happened, I was like, what the fuck just happened?
I had to turn around now. I was like, wait, no, the janitor's still back there, so I definitely am going in the right direction from where I turned.
To which I will. Devon was watching me play, and he's like, "Someone didn't read something on the wall," and I was like, "But I did. I did read that. I just didn't understand what it meant." But there's that line. There's that poster that says, "Building shifts, delays due to building shifts do not count towards overtime or something."
Speaking of those documents, by the way, the best one I picked up was when a guy is like, "Hey, can we figure out what the hell happened to the executive bathroom? Because I haven't
read that one. I picked it up.
So guy was like, "I haven't been able to find the bathroom for 3 weeks."
That's great. I wanted to. I didn't read that one. I just picked it up, but I saw the title of it, and I'm like, "That's incredible."
Oh man, it's just like a memo. It's just like, has anybody seen the bathroom?
Yeah, but it was so funny because Devon's like, "Someone didn't read the sign," and I was like, "Wait, what sign? Did I miss it?" And I had taken a picture of it because I've been taking pictures of a lot of cool stuff. And I read it, and I was like, "Oh, I did read that sign, but I didn't even understand what it meant." But
right, because you haven't hit the point that explains what it means yet.
It's great. It's
incredible. I walked into a room and I was like, "Oh, this lobby looks exactly like the one I just came out of. Did I turn around? Nope, it's still here. Oh, funny, government building. They all look the same." Didn't they think anything of it?
No, it was just like this cool thing where I'm like, that is really nice attention to detail. Thank you, game. But it's so much fun. And like I did not realize what the combat was going to be. I knew that you had to fight stuff. I knew that you had a gun. I knew that you had a weapon, but I didn't realize the people would just fall from the sky.
Oh my god, there's people just floating and chanting above you for this entire game. They're just chanting things and it's not subtitled, so you can't hear what they're saying. They're just kind of humming above you.
Every now and then you can pick up on a word and it's like, what the fuck happened to you guys? Who hurt you?
Because it's like I love this like concept of like, oh, she's been searching for this government agency this whole time. She gets to them, and when she finally finds them, they're under fucking quarantine because their shit's already fucked up. So it's like, hey, I found the people who can give me answers. Oh, they're all dying.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I have to fix this situation now so I can get my answers.
Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know.
Did you catch the line from the janitor when he responded to her voiceover, by the way?
Yes.
Yes. That's the thing that made me go, oh, shit, I need to pay more attention to what she's saying now. Because she's like, oh, I've done a bunch of late night service jobs before. This guy's much more of a friendly face than you would think. And he's like, what face are you talking about? And I was like, whoa, wait, hold on.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, it's better to have...
It's
better to he was like something about like it's better to have a faceless face than no face at all or something like that.
Right.
And I was like, don't do that, game. Don't start doing that. That's not fair. Or like,
I don't know what's real in this game anymore.
But I am so happy that because all I wanted after you become the director is your picture to be on the walls, and it was, and I'm so happy.
Just like immediately, it's just like you turn around and it's like, oh, here's the director. And then, so you reach the part where you save the team out of the safe room and you meet Emily Pope.
Yes.
And like she walks out of the room and just goes, oh yeah, the new director. So, why do you know that?
Yeah.
You've been in this room for the last 30 minutes.
It's normal, I guess. Dropping like flies.
Did you get like an email? Did a memo go out after you found the dead body of the other director? That was like, by the way, there's a new director. She's not going to understand jack shit because that's the other thing. They're perfectly fine with the fact that you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, you're the director. You've always been the director. Why don't you know this or that? It's like, oh, yeah, you're the director now. Let me help you get settled because you're going to be a little confused for a while.
I thought that it was going to be one of those situations where it's like, you've always been the director. What are you talking about? I'm happy it's not. I'm happy that Emily is in just as much of the dark as you are, as Jesse is,
and
but
Jesse
in different ways.
Right, and
too.
Jesse is like, I
Like,
don't know how much is like giving you just enough to be like, I don't know how much this is bullshit. I don't know how much
exactly.
I'm being lied to right now. So we're
Yeah.
just going to run through this like there's conversation trees ish in that you can ask about topics, but otherwise this is just a game saying like Jesse is this character
Yep.
and she thinks this way,
Yeah.
and because they've established that you are not Jesse, you are a third party watching Jesse's
Watching
story.
Jesse or
You don't
listening to Jesse's
listening
story.
to Jesse's story.
Like,
It's like it's a situation in which like she's gonna do what she's gonna do
mhm,
and make her decisions, and you're just gonna have to watch that unfold.
yeah.
So like, okay, sure, I'm
Yeah.
along for that ride.
And I'm happy about that too because I don't love conversation trees. They work for me in Horizon Zero Dawn, but
But even
like
then, like you choose a thing, and then people like like Aloy puts that
yeah,
shit into the conversation. Like she's gonna say what she's gonna say, and people are gonna
exactly.
respond to it.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah.
Yeah. She does she very much you basically choose like the idea that you want Aloy to talk about and then she just says whatever Aloy's going to say.
She's
And
gonna
she
say what
don't
she's gonna
give a
say,
shit.
and the other person's
Like,
gonna hit on you as a response because
yeah.
that's what happens to Aloy.
Yep.
Two things: someone either tells her that she needs a bath or that she's hot. That's the only two conversations that Aloy ever has.
Oh man. But yeah, no, I'm loving Control so far and
Yeah.
I don't know what the I mean, I kind of know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I'm like
But
one section further from you. I hit the first like mini boss ish kind of
yeah.
thing as they like try to change anything, but but I've also been having fun with like Alan Wake for a long time was not available on Steam anymore because of music rights.
Mm.
Specifically, they had a
Oh,
scene
yes. Yep, yep,
that
yep.
used a specific song that was real, and they lost the rights, the digital like sale rights to it. So all of a
Mhm.
sudden they couldn't sell the game anymore and all that stuff. And I like that Control responded by, I have now run into 5 separate radios with 5 different songs on them.
Yep.
And I don't know if they're real or not,
I
but
found
just like,
two.
but it's just like the fact that Control was like, oh, what? We lost the rights to sell Alan Wake because music? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Radio, radio, radio.
Oh man. I will share that I have died twice.
I've died a few times too. It's fine.
That was jarring the first time, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it took me a while to figure out the health pickup thing because I
yeah.
didn't quite see the like little blue
Mhm.
specks.
Mhm.
But once I started to kind of figure that out and like really be like, okay, so if I kill this guy here, I can run around, pick up the health as I go by, and then kill this guy, and
Yeah,
then yeah.
yeah, yeah. The combat is really interesting because you really do just
Did
gotta
you?
keep running in a circle until
I actually
everything
also
is dead.
need to find something out from you.
Uh-huh.
So I can crouch.
I don't know how to
Okay,
crouch.
so I think it's a thing. I think it's locked. I think you can't crouch at the beginning of the game then, because I
Okay.
tried it 1,000 times. It is tight. It is mapped to the right thumbstick like
Okay.
click, but I think it literally does not let you crouch until a certain point in the game then.
All right.
Because like at some point I just started doing it and I was like, I swear I've hit this button 1,000 times and nothing happened.
All right. I'm
So I
gonna
think
have
it's
to
just
try it
yeah.
now because
So
I was
sometimes soon
so
after
upset where I
yeah,
couldn't crouch.
yeah, sometimes soon after where you are, it will let you. A thing does eventually pop up and be like, you can crouch with R3, but I was crouching like a little bit before that, so I
Yeah.
must have hit whatever room that's supposed to happen in. So
Yeah.
yes, there is like it is mapped to, because we are still technically in the opening tutorial of this game.
Yeah.
So like it just eventually is just like you hit a certain room in the mission list, and then you can start crouching.
Yeah. Gee, yeah, it made me so upset.
Yeah,
Like,
because I
why
was confused
can't I
for a long time.
crouch?
I was confused for a long time, but yeah, eventually you
All
do
right,
get
good.
the crouch.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, there was something else I was gonna say about something. I don't remember. This game is messing me up, man. It's great. I love it. Yeah. What was I gonna say about fighting? You run around, shoot
Like
stuff.
shoot, punch with your massive
Oh,
telekinetic, just like
incredible.
explosion. Have you done that just in a room, by the way?
Yes.
And just like broke desks
accidentally.
and yeah,
Accidentally,
yeah.
I
I
did,
turned
and it
around and I was
freaked
like,
me
well, I
out.
guess I'm trashing this office now.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
It freaked me out. God, I wish I remembered what I was gonna say.
Oh man,
Yeah, no, it's great.
good. It's very good right now. We'll see where it goes after this, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a hit right now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
I agree.
happy.
I agree. Yeah.
Federal Bureau of Control. It's such a place. Like everything is so basically named.
Yeah.
So when you talked to Emily Pope, did you go through the whole conversation tree?
Mm-mm. I
Okay.
have not. So I just like had my meeting with her in the boardroom.
Okay, so you can
So
you can then sit back down and like it'll give you a list of
talk to her.
topics to ask
Yeah.
about.
Nope.
Yeah.
I haven't
So
done. I
okay,
haven't done
okay,
any
never
of
mind that.
that.
So I won't talk about that yet because she reveals something that I find hilarious in that. But have you looked in the vending machines at
Yes.
the chips and
Uh
the
huh.
candy bars? They're just
Candy bar,
white bag potato
pistachios.
chips.
Yeah, it's very. It's freaking. They live. It's like
It's
they
my
live.
and it's literally this is like this is hitting so much of my shit. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
love the idea of like an evil corporate like of like an evil bureau or like an evil group, but they're in like a boring ass office building. I love that shit.
Mhm.
I love all of the what is reality shit.
Yep.
I love the fact that in her opening monologue about the poster in the prison and the poster,
Yeah.
she references Shawshank Redemption because
Okay.
she says that there was a she says you're in like you're in a
It's like
prison
that
cell
prison.
and there's a poster and there's a landscape or it's a pretty lady like that movie once.
Yeah.
She's referencing Shawshank
I
Redemption and
wasn't.
like talking about the Rita Hayworth poster.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Shawshank or if it was something else, but yeah, I picked up on that.
Yeah, which is great because like Alan Wake is basically a Stephen King story,
Yeah.
and so to be like so for them to reference a Stephen King story at the beginning of this, it's like oh yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, I'm immediately I'm in love with this game.
Yeah. No, it's checking a lot of boxes for me too, which is similar to yours, but just the sheer of what the hell just happened is something that I fucking love in video games because it just makes me want to continue playing the game. If you give me too much, I'm like, meh, whatever. But yeah, I need a good
No,
mystery.
again, much like
need a
Ready or
good
Not,
mystery.
it's all in one specific building,
Yeah.
a building that is bigger on the inside, like the TARDIS.
Like the target. But that's another
A
thing
building.
too.
So you might not have even heard what the building is called. So I'm not even gonna say that either. Damn it! The building is
Um
also a ridiculous name.
no, I have heard it. Hold
The
on. Oh, I've heard it. I've heard it.
it's said, but I don't know if it's specifically referenced that that's the name of the building, or if it's like if it's
No,
trying to
I know
think
what
it
it's
somewhere
called.
else.
I just can't think of it. You can
The oldest house.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. So the building is just called the
The
oldest
oldest
house because
house.
they're like because this government agency went,
Yeah.
we do some stuff with weird shit, and we found this building that is nothing but weird shit. So
Yep.
we just kind of moved our offices into the weird shit building.
My favorite
Well,
thing
hey,
is
maybe that was a bad idea,
my
idiots.
my favorite thing too is also the painting of the oldest house that you can find. Have you seen that?
No, I don't think I did.
There's a painting. So there, like when you first walk through like the first lobby,
Right.
there's the picture of the director, and then
And the picture of the janitor from behind. I found that one.
Not even that one. I saw that too. But after that, when you go into the director's office and you get the gun, that part. You walk
Okay.
through and there's a picture of the director, and then next to it it's a picture of the oldest house, and it's underneath it you can just make out the plaque that says the oldest house, founded August 4th, I guess 1968. And I'm like, that is a beautiful painting of this area. And then across it, it's like farm images of like people riding horses and like the West. It's like, what this? Why are these here? But no, it
Yeah,
really.
because oh God, again, I have to remember where you're at so I don't start talking about things.
No,
it's
that's
weird.
fine.
It's annoying because like I'm gonna start saying things that are in the conversation you're about to have. Which
Yeah,
is what I don't want to do.
No, it's just it really does hit all those things of like I freaking love that the vending machines. I love the vending machines so much because all I can think of was They Live. And when he puts on the glasses, you see all of the propaganda and all of that, you know? You've seen They Live, right?
I've seen bits and pieces of They Live.
Did I just spoil They Live for you?
No, I mean no. I
Good.
know what They Live is
Good.
about ostensibly.
I love that movie.
It's about a really long fight scene. It's
No.
I know.
You're wrong.
No.
No, I know. I love They Live.
And Bubblegum.
You should watch They Live.
Oh,
It's
yes.
so
Yes,
good.
I should.
It's so freaking good. But Anyway, back to Control. But yeah, it really hits on that. It hits on all of the just craziness. I also love because it happened in another game. Oh, it happens in Rhyme where, which is weird, where like shifting planes happens where the way you came, you can no longer go. And I'm like, that is such a cool concept to me in a video game, in a story, really. And it gives it that level of creepiness, but like a fun level of creepiness, not a scary level, like just a all right, so clearly I just need to keep going and I'll be
Guess
fine.
guess I can't go back there now.
Yes. Yeah. But it's the it's the perfect level of mystery and creepiness that I just needed and love.
Without feeling completely like helpless,
I should
which is
really
like the
read.
thing that horror games
Yeah,
tend to do. Yeah.
yeah. I should really read some Stephen King and
Yes.
like H.P. Lovecraft probably,
Oh, and Twin Peaks.
and Twin Peaks.
Oh, that's the other thing. I've done nothing but keep listening to this Twin Peaks podcast, and I finally I spent the money on the box set that's coming in December.
I know.
So like
Ugh.
my brain has just been steeped in this like weird. And I watched Eraserhead for the first time.
I wanted to talk to you about that.
Oh, it's a weird movie.
It is
It's
a weird
movie. So like my brain is like in this weird space right now where it's like trying to understand shit, and so like to then go into control.
Yeah. No, I hear
my
ya.
brain is in a weird space.
My brain is in a weird space because of Hilda. I'm like, I just finished Hilda, and it's very much everybody is cool with all this weird shit that's going on. It's just part of life. But like, man, the weird shit that they're dealing with is weird. Like, freaking, I can't even go into it because you haven't finished it. I don't know if you're going to finish it.
I'll try and finish it for next week. That sounds like something we could talk about.
But like, yeah,
Oh,
it's just like, I mean, it's childish weird, but it's not at the same time. It's very much like these kids kind of need to be adult right now because they're dealing with some shit.
it's like fairy tales where like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is a kid story, but
Yeah.
also preparing you for
Yeah.
adulthood.
But God, Eraserhead. We need to talk about Eraserhead.
Oh, I need another week to
'Cause-
think on it, I think.
Was it
Gotta find
was
some
it your first
articles.
time watching
It
it?
was my first time watching it.
I
I
had a-
realized like I don't think I've ever watched a David Lynch film outside of like Twin Peaks stuff. So I
Uh-huh.
was like, I'm gonna sit down and watch David Lynch movies, and I was like, oh, Eraserhead is $3 to rent.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch that because I know it's supposed to be weird and
it's
that
good.
should be cool.
I
And I was
I,
like,
I really
what
like
is-
Eraserhead.
I liked it. I'm still trying to decide. Speaking of a movie, like speaking of things where like I don't know what's real
Yep.
and what's perception
Yep.
in that movie.
No, I got you.
And so,
Yeah, that's a really interesting, cool movie. I had to watch it in, I think, an audio class.
yeah, the second you were like,
Yeah.
when you were like, oh, I've seen that, I was like, well, of course, because that sounds like exactly like something a film
Yeah.
class would want to watch.
Oh yeah. God,
Yeah.
Eraserhead is such a
So
good film.
this is another reason we need to watch Twin Peaks then, because the guy who plays Henry in
Mhm.
Eraserhead is in Twin Peaks. Jack
Oh.
Nance was basically huge friends with David Lynch. That's how he ended up getting the movie. And in fact, a woman that ended up being a camera person in that, she was in a scene that got cut, but the log lady. Do you know
Yep.
the log lady from Twin Peaks?
I have
That's
seen her.
Catherine Coulson. That's Jack Nance's wife and
Okay.
another good friend of David Lynch.
Okay.
So like they've all known each other for years. But yeah, Jack Nance has the greatest line. That with the opening of Twin Peaks where he picks up the phone and calls the sheriff and just says, "She's dead,
Mhm.
wrapped in plastic." It's like, yes, yeah, like that opens that series.
Oh my god. It's ridiculous. It's great.
Uh,
Yeah.
So this has been
This has
Say
been
Report Jr.
Sayrebort Jr. Go watch Ready or Not. Go play
Yes.
Control
Yes.
and Star Wars.
Get excited for Star Wars if
Get
you're
excited.
excited for it.
Get
If not,
excited.
make up your own weird storylines about
Get
it.
hyped. Get hyped. I don't know. But
I
yeah.
want Mark Hamill to come back as Luke with two U's, an actual character that exists in the extended universe.
Oh my god.
He is a clone that was grown from his chopped off hand. I want that in Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of
I want
Skywalker?
that to be the
You
rise
want
of the
that to be
Skywalker.
the rise of the Skywalker?
I want that
Oh my-
Skywalker to be the one that rises.
Oh my god. This has been Say Report Jr., everybody. I hope you enjoyed the episode. You can find us on YouTube if you search Say Report Jr., and that's Say Report JR. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Twitter at Say Report Jr.
As well as iTunes and all of the other podcasts.
As well as iTunes and all of that.
Players,
I forgot
yes.
iTunes. All of that. You can find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Dale's Brain.
I am at Zerwisky.
And if you want to tweet at us and let us know how you feel, if after you see Ready or Not and after you play Control, please let us do that. That'd be fun. That'd be great. Yeah. Let's go get ice cream. I need ice cream. I've already had my comfort food, but now I need ice cream.
Cool. Take it away, Liz.
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts Dale Decker and Zach Sarowik. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.